As L. Arnault said, disciplining a child is showing them how to solve problems for themselves. Now, as parents or future parents, we must remember that we are responsible for providing more than a good meal and a house. We are responsible for the future leaders and what these future kids could contribute to society. Through articles like Children Should Never Ever Be Spanked by Mary, Positive Reinforcement and Behavior by Ellie Sigler and Shirley Adamore, and Why You Shouldn't Punish Your Children by the blog Brightside and more, we will all be able to educate you on the positive effects of reinforcement. By reinforcing positive behavior, we can provide the tools and the skills that our young people can take with them and use in the real world for an amazing experience. I encourage you to feel encouraged and motivated by the long-term effects of positive reinforcement. It is imperative that we avoid punishments like spanking or verbal abuse. As Brightside said, children usually don't have any self-discipline or a sense of empathy because no one taught them these essential things. As the parents of these future leaders, we are the main source of knowledge. We provide the morals and values and how to get through life in every step of the way. Now imagine your child goes and reaches for the oven because it's warm in a cold house, and all you do is smack his hand and he shoo him out of the kitchen. What did the kid get from that? From your perspective, you did it out of love for his safety, but the child just feels unwanted and underappreciated and disrespected. It prevents self-discipline. All they feel is feelings instead of seeing the situation for what it is. These core memories leave a mark on their well-being and their psyche, and it doesn't give them the tools to be able to control their feelings and see how they can act better in these situations. These wounds would impact our society. Now remember, we are responsible for our future society. It should be our goal to teach identical behaviors that are acceptable and correct in society. Now, there are 4 ways that you can do this every day in your homes to ingrain in your method of teaching for your kids. The first one being, reinforcement is an increasing behavior. So it must be repeated and consistent. Every time they do something good, they must receive that positive behavior, that positive effect. Secondly, an extinction burst must occur. That means as soon as a good behavior disappears, so does the great thing that they get. Now, thirdly, that reinforcement, that thing they must receive, must be easy and simple. It's something accessible, like stickers or candy, something that just really just makes their day feel good. And lastly, as hard as it can be sometimes, ignoring unwanted behavior. Now, of course, not at the expense of your child, but ignoring the unwanted behavior does not give them the attention that they crave and want, which disappears the behavior that you don't need. Now, I want you to envision. Imagine your daughter out there playing in the kitchen, and she puts all these little fake veggies in a bowl, and she's really trying hard to make sure it's all seasoned and just right, just for you. And your kid brings it to you, and you look at it and you applaud them. You applaud them for their work. You're appreciative for all the kindness and the thoughtfulness and taking the time to do that for you. Now that translates into the working force. When their boss is, not exactly very clear or verbally saying, good job, I'm so proud of you for working, because we all know we don't get that every day. The child will be able to take that memory, put it into their heart, and remember that they are always being appreciated. That what they are doing is having an impact on society and that they're not ignored or unwanted. Now, on the other hand, situations where the parent is, I'll give you something to cry about after the child has hurt themselves, the kids swallow their pain and discomfort and don't know how to handle these big feelings that they've never experienced before. The kids will accept the rude behavior because they can't express their negative feelings and discomfort. Now this translates again to the workforce. for whenever they're getting constructive criticism from their bosses. They won't be able to accept that for what it is and do better from there, but they will swallow it and make it a negative characteristic of themselves instead of improving on that. Positive reinforcement would produce the best kind of people we need for society. We need them, they will become more self-sufficient, and they will teach values and morals onto their next children as onto the next generation. The 4 components and the 4 methods that we went over will impact your kids for a lifetime. We are responsible for the physical, emotional, mental well-being of the next generation of leaders who will all have to take care of this generation. Thank you.